the app was a huge thing with one screen. And that one screen allowed us to outsource the process and crowdsource this in the company. We deployed the app on 600 laptops in the company. And when we have a disruption, your request of being refunded or traveling tomorrow may be handled by any employee working from home, working from anywhere. So before that, we had 120 people at the call center, and we had to ask them to drive back to the office. Now it's accessible from anywhere. I can access it from my iPad, although it's not an iPad app, but I can access it from absolutely anywhere. And I can handle requests from customers. Doing that, it meant we had to have the infrastructure guys because they had to open firewalls, they had to install VPNs, new VPNs because you could not VPN from an iPad, and so on and so on. And it's outsourced because we have also found a company that can put 100 people up and running within an hour of being asked. And so it was a common effort from the whole IS department. But because everybody shared the objective, it was really easy. When we said to the change board, you guys have to be on standby because we're going to bring changes one after the other, and there will be no RFCs. You won't have time to look at the RFCs beforehand. It's an emergency cab, and it's going to last for the afternoon. Just be on standby. No explanation needed because they all know what we're doing. And the result is, instead of taking months to process refunds and rebooking, we did it now we are under a day. So when we have a disruption, 3 trains canceled, we cancel all the trains in the afternoon. Usually it's handled, so the immediate needs, not compensation, but the immediate rebooking and refunds are handled by the next day. Last time, we canceled all the trains from 3 o'clock in the afternoon to the end of the day, and every request was handled at 12 the next day. But before that, it would take weeks. It would take hours on the phone. You would have to wait 2 hours on the phone to get somebody to respond. Now you fill in a form online, and you get the answer by email within an hour, within 2 hours. Another example was, again, in disruption. We need to inform staff and our customers. That may sound simple, but it changes by the minute. We hit an animal on the high-speed line. We need to have a lot of people intervene and check that the train can run, and so on and so on. We have migrants crisis. If migrants enter the tunnel area, all traffic stops because we don't want to kill any of these poor guys, and a train running at 160 kilometers an hour would kill them. So how do we inform people? And so one of our contact center agents built an intranet page and starting populating the page. That page became real-time information. And that's their idea. They built it. We give them the possibility to build a page, and they built it. And so now everyone has the same information, and it's up to date within a minute. And when we had last week a crisis when it wasn't up to date, everybody was showing the green page saying, well, what are you saying? There's a crisis, but this thing says it's up to date. And the agent from the call center updated it, saying, yeah, we didn't have time to update it. So it becomes really easy. I think, if I may, the key takeaways: get rid of the internal customer. Get rid of that discussion altogether completely. Focus on the one customer and what you want to deliver to that customer. And as soon as your teams are focused on the fact that we're all working to serve one customer, or we're working to serve people who are serving this customer, it becomes very easy to prioritize your tasks, to prioritize your projects according to the customer benefit. And it's so simple, really, very, very simple. Now ask all these cloud companies, ask Salesforce, ask Box, ask all these companies who are very, very successful, do they have an internal customer? They will look at you saying, what do you mean internal customer? There's only one customer, is the guy who buys the license. So all these companies going so fast and so on, they've never heard of that concept. And the last one is, by doing that, you can give your staff permission to innovate. Innovation can come from the people and the teams. Now everybody's aligned, everybody sees the same thing, the same needs, and so let them innovate, because it will go in the right direction.
Thank you.
So But that's what I did. Ban the internal customer.
Thank you, Antoine. I'd just like to offer to give the opportunity to some people to ask some questions. We've got a few minutes, so if it's okay. Any questions that the board would like to ask? Gentlemen there.
Thinking about banning the internal customer, I think it's a really interesting idea and concept. Did you have any challenges where other departments had a concept of an internal customer and you're trying to ban it? Finance is we've got internal customers. How did you get the whole organisation to buy into something that's coming from the IT guy?
It's a lifetime piece of work. Yes, finance has internal customers, and we keep telling them that we are not their customer, and that there's only one guy, and they should know because they look at the payment systems. It's an ongoing process, and yes, it's difficult. It was easier in my own department. I convinced the CFO, but convincing everybody in his team, and he's not as convinced as I am, so he's not making any, trying to push for his team to behave differently. But yes, it slowly but surely it's working.
Any other questions at all? Yes.
Where you've got suppliers who deliver the service side of the IT, does that sit outside or inside your organisation?
For some of them, it sits inside, and we tell them that they should watch the customer outside. We have interesting discussions with some of the outsourcing partners, where we tell them, okay, we have the SLA discussion, put that aside. Now you and I are providing a service to the rest of the business, to the rest of the company, and to IS. I mean, if it's the help desk and installing stuff on PCs and so on, it's serving the whole company. And if your service is bad, we all look bad. And when time comes to award that contract, if we've all looked bad, whatever you do, I will never be able to justify awarding the contract to you. So we need to work as a team to provide a great service. If the rest of the company and all the people in the company will recognize that the service we are providing together is a great service, then there will be no discussion. But it was always a difficult discussion.
Any other questions at all? I've got one question for you. It was fascinating to see that, and I could see that the floor was quite engaged as you were talking through how you prioritise things and that sort of thing. Do you go back afterwards? To what extent do you go back afterwards and then see, did we deliver the 50K?
Yes.
Did it actually
So
do you have a kind of a loop back?
Yes.
And then does that inform the future?
So for every user story, we have an amount of money, and we come back to it, say, did we actually deliver these savings? And if we did not, then we ask the person who gave that amount to update the judgment and understand and explain. And it's not justify, it's more explain why there's such a big difference.
I kind of came to that because one of the questions was sometimes some departments might inflate their impact or whatever, and checking afterwards maybe does provide a bit of governance to that.
So the amount, this amount is not used for prioritization, just to avoid that. It's not used at all in a prioritization scheme. Yeah, it's too difficult to do that, the cost of doing nothing. What is the cost of doing nothing for serving clients? It's brand, it's goodwill, it's brand image, it's NPS. And I don't know what the price of one NPS point is, and we don't want to, at least within Eurostar, we don't want to do that. In a previous company, we had put a price on minutes of delay, and it makes you create the wrong things. If you have a small amount on a huge quantity, small amount feels not painful. So say if we save 1 minute of delay in an airline, then we save £1,000. So let's bring all the flights 1 minute earlier. We have 1,500 flights a day. That's 1.5 million a day. And that makes you make the wrong decision. So it drives the wrong behavior, it drives the wrong projects, and so on, because this multiplication effect, by multiplying the number of tickets, number of flights by a very small number, creates the wrong behaviors.
Well, on that, Antoine, we're just about on time. It's a fascinating presentation.
Thank you.
So